Okay, and welcome to another podcast. It is Sunday morning in Scotland, and we are going for a walk with dog Patch. And today's session, I'd like to talk about giving, receiving, and also the expression of love. And the reason this came up for me is, well, I've had a theme over recent years where during my awakening journey I've learned how to create songs every day. I can channel beautiful messages and create such beautiful music, and it's always interesting in the creation process because we don't always think of receiving in the creation process. And so when I create a song, what I've learned recently is that it's so important to really set the intention for what you're doing. So as I sit down and I meditate, I set the intention. I say to my guides, I say, guides, higher self and source, please give me a message for today for the highest good, love, and compassion. And what's really interesting about that is that when I ask for a message, I'm setting the intention. And so as I listen to the message, it already has the intention in it of the highest good, love and compassion. And then when I create the song, as I'm singing, as I'm writing music, I think of these things also. I think of those feelings. I let them kind of flow through me, open my heart and let them flow through the creation of the music. I don't cling on to what I feel is, I try not to cling on to what is good or bad. I really just focus on what is, positive, or that feeling that I'm trying to get through. And so when I sit down with my guitar and I sit in front of the microphone and I record a song, I pause for a second as I tap the guitar to count myself in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that moment I focus on really opening my heart and saying to myself, well, here I am with an open heart, setting the intention to create the song with love, the highest good, love and compassion, to help those that hear it, to help raise their vibrations. And then I start, and as I'm singing and as I'm playing guitar throughout the song, I just imagine that energy continuing to flow through me. And I realize over time that this expression process is not one way. And what I feel like is that as I create, I also, as I improve my ability to create, I also need to improve my ability to receive. And this is because the universe is energy first, so everything is energy. And when you think of it in that way, you think, well, as I create energy, what is the process that happens? This way, Patch. I'm just going to the woods. When I create, I manifest messages and love, and I express that out. And then as I create, I open my heart up, and once I get to the end of the song, I practice pausing and listening. And it's also kind of a very traditional thing to do, is once you create something to reflect and to look back at it. And I pause and really just breathe in. I often put my hand on my heart, and I think it's a great way, my right hand on my heart, and I just say out loud, I'm grateful for this song, this creation, this expression of love. And that's the first step. And then as I share the song on YouTube or on Spotify or any of these many platforms, I reflect on, often what happens is, especially on YouTube, when people comment, I see your beautiful comment. Often as I get about my busy day, I'll often see the comment flash up, and I just resonate with the feeling of the comment. Okay, Pitch. So I think of things like, good boy. I just connect with how does it feel for this person? What did they experience when they listened to and watched my song? And I just receive that love. And as they comment, in some respects it doesn't really matter what they say because it's connecting with that feeling. And because sometimes, quite often people express themselves as, sometimes it's like the tip of the iceberg for how they really feel. So sometimes people just give me a heart, which I love hearts. Sometimes the comment of thank you. Sometimes it's no comment at all, and sometimes you have beautiful subscribers like the Emoji King who just invest so much time and energy and love into this beautiful emoji art, which is, wow, so powerful on so many levels. And as I experience that, I really let it fill my day. I'm learning to, both silently and energetically just receive that love back. Because what happens is I create this love. It is, and as I create with love, what's happening is the universe is then responding with that creation by giving back and saying, I see this reflection of myself, its source energy of love expressing itself out to the universe, and then listening back. All of our souls are unique expressions and have the ability to create in unique ways that no one has ever done before. And so when we take time to express, we must also make time to listen and to feel and receive. And even today, I was doing a podcast with a dear friend, Maria, such a beautiful, kind, giving soul, and she was saying such beautiful things about how my journey inspires her, and my work, my creation of music, and then the work I've been doing on darkness and clearing. And that was quite hard for me at times to receive. I would find myself interrupting her and saying, thank you. Like feeling, just this feeling of, I'm not worthy of that. I'm not worthy of that beautiful expression and that gratitude. But I know I am really. And so I made extra effort. And I, as we reached the end of the podcast, I also said, I just want to hold space for my gratitude. I want to thank you. And that was so beautiful. Just to pause for a moment and just breathe into that. So, giving is as important as receiving. If we think about it the other way, if you never receive, your cup will never be filled. And you always end up in a situation where if you never receive, you'll just be giving this unlimited amount of energy and just exhaust yourself. Come on, Patch. It's in a holly bush. So yeah, that's so important to just acknowledge that if you don't receive, you can no longer give. And yeah, what I love is the journey of that lesson. I don't know that I will ever fully get over. So I'm just checking if Patch did a poo. No, he didn't. Come on, Patch. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever stop that journey of trying to receive, learning to receive. But I do know that there is so much to receive. Like, the more I give, the more I will have to learn to receive. The more I will learn. Okay, so I feel this infinity loop, this complete infinity loop of when we create with love, we must also receive with love. One practice I've been trying is, it's very tempting for me to just go out and, when I go for a walk, to be creating a bit like I'm doing now, just like creating a podcast. But there are days, and it was about last week, I didn't do any podcasts, and what I set the intention of, come on, Patch, I just set the intention to receive. So I'd go out in for a walk in nature and just set the intention before I left that during this time I would receive. I don't really know what it would be, but I would just reflect. And all these things started to come through very quickly, like, I'm so grateful. Like the first words I say out loud every day, I'm grateful for my family, my friends, my music, my house, my job, my food, my motorhome, our holiday home, this planet Earth, every living thing. And often I imagine them glowing with such love each of these things as I express gratitude. And gratitude is a very high vibration kind of receiving emotion and intention. And so the next topic I'd like to step into is to talk more about the expression of love itself. Oh, and it's so beautiful. One thing I've learned is to express myself more in the connections that I make, in the relationships that I have with others, in the relationship I have with myself. And so it's very tempting from the human perspective to see relationships as, friendships where you just, with a friendship, you find something in common with someone and you meet up with them, and during that time you talk, you might go out for drinks together or coffee or whatever you do. And then there's your kids or your family where there's a blood relationship with them, and that's a friendship bound by blood, and there's love for that too. All these things being kind of very physical aspects of relationships. And then there's also the our lovers, our partners, and our intimate relationships. And these are very at a physical level, it's easy to see them as a friendship, like a powerful friendship, plus things like sex. But it's so much more than that. And I also feel like there's so much more to every aspect of our connections, our relationships. And so, as I've been going through my awakening journey, I think one of the early things I started to say was, to call fellow males, to call them brother. And I found that really interesting because to me, a brother is someone that you have a deep connection with. I have two brothers. I have an older and younger brother, and I feel that when I relate to other men, it is important to value, to see the divine masculine in them, as well as the balance of divine feminine. And it is so powerful to love all people. And without exception. So yeah, I do call other males brother and women sisters, and I love that feeling that it has when I do so. And so I don't really see the same boundaries that I used to around sexuality. Like, I see sexuality, my sexuality and my love for others as being, in part, I feel that love is just this much bigger umbrella. It's like this huge, unlimited, kind of sexless, boundless, I mean by sexless, like genderless, should I say, boundless reality. And then, who I choose to have intimate relationships with, either at a spiritual or physical level, is a smaller part of that. It's a bit windier up here. So, I think I'm going to turn around and go through the woods. And so one thing that's definitely been a journey is when I connect with other women, and you definitely tend to find that there's hiya. What you this way? What you tend to find is that when I connect with other women, I used to find it initially quite difficult to connect and be thinking, what's the intention here? I've got, I'm a happily married man, so why would I seek friendships and connections with other women? And it's definitely a much harder space as a male to navigate. And I realized a big step for me was setting my intention and being really honest. And it's a journey of being honest to yourself, first and foremost. So if I think of things like, well, what about having connections with people that I find more attractive, physically attractive. I say more, I just mean I find them physically attractive. And the journey for me has been really feeling first, more and more feeling the energy first. And you realize quickly that it doesn't really matter how people look on the inside, it's their energy that you find the most attractive. And that there's so many different dimensions and levels to attraction, but you need to be clear. And I have said to some people that I've connected with and still are good friends today, if I felt strong physical attraction, because I want it to be clear in my intention that my intention is not to have a physical connection. And also, I want to be sovereign and protective of and honour my marriage. Hello. Come on, Pets. Come on, Petchy. Hiya. Come on. Hiya. I want to honour that. And it's important to me to be honest with myself when I connect with others. And forward wind to today, I feel like I have many, such beautiful, divine, feminine friends. They're such powerful souls. I think seeing people as their souls is a great way of thinking about relationships as well. When you connect at soul levels, you realise that the current incarnation of them is, in many respects, less interesting. It's the soul that you feel connected with. So that's definitely been one thing that I've been just sitting with and connected with more. And then when I'm connecting with people and in conversations, you also realise that it's much more beyond what you might say in a text chat or in direct messaging or in a Zoom call or whatever kind of 3D world connection you're making. You also need to honour and acknowledge that in this energy first universe that we feel each other, and we feel ourselves and our energies interacting beyond these 3D world paradigms, and they're kind of like these mobile phones and traditional ways of communicating are much more just like the training wheels, like the stabilizers for us to help to learn to exercise our other gifts of energy exchanges and developing telepathy. And so now when I feel, when someone comes into my awareness, I honour that. This morning, a friend I've known for many years as a YouTuber, I felt there was a kind of lowness, there was a heaviness with them at this time. And so I reached out, I went on to a video and I sent love, and I also just messaged them and just saying, just checking in, see how you're doing. And that's so important, there's a whole reason why you're guided to do these things. And there's such an aspect of our life journeys, it's like the hero journey, and the hero journey is lonely. And so to just have one person reach out to you and to check in on you, how are you doing, and do it emotionally, when you think of someone, just fill your heart up with love and send it to them, like they feel it, let them receive it. It's so powerful. And the same goes for negative experiences too. And so if you have feelings that are negative towards people, just remember that these are felt by them. And in the energy first universe, you be careful of what you set your intention to. And then everything in between, I've had some friends that sometimes I just get feelings that, I question some of their motives behind what they're doing. And I wouldn't say it's a negative way, it's quite a neutral experience. And sometimes I feel that people are, affected by something in their current life or previous life that they're not fully aware of. It's not their fault that they're not yet aware of it, but my heart's picking up on it, and then navigating the best way to approach it. How do you approach deception that sits within someone when they're deceiving themselves? That's probably a whole new podcast in itself. But yeah, I feel like, and when I learn the answer, I'll tell you. But I feel like that's definitely a journey for me, is being conscious whenever I see other people. If you, for instance, see someone on social media and you think you have kind of jealous feelings towards them, it's really quite a negative feeling, and it causes separation. It erodes your own perception and your own abilities. And the way of looking at it, come on Patch, the way of looking at it isn't it, turn it around and say, isn't it beautiful to see this person's success? Lightly, you see them because you have an associated interest with what they're doing. See them as a reflection of you. See them as a potential timeline of you. Why would you be jealous of yourself? And when you do that, you realize, I'm going to send this person so much love for achieving that thing that I did or I do or do not choose to do in this lifetime. And know that none of this is a competition. Everyone has a unique journey. And as you develop through your life, you'll definitely find the new things that you create. What's your niche? And I don't mean like going out and finding some very specific market niche. It's about looking inside your heart, and truly discovering through a process of, tackling your fears, stepping through them to find your magic, to find what's unique about your gifts. Everyone has them. Everyone's unique. It's so beautiful. I felt like I was going somewhere with this. So, I feel now when I'm connecting with other souls, I also just look at the lesson that I'm learning as part of this. Growing themes for me have been things like, if you look at, for instance, my YouTube channel content, you'll see that in the last few weeks, I completely changed from being this kind of lone wolf, always create. I was doing like album after album, and sometimes, without any collaborations. And the collaborations are beautiful, so beautiful to do. They're a lot of effort on top of everything else, but it's a way of connecting with others and collaborating. But now, between darkness clearing sessions where I'm connecting with, one-on-one or with a group, or when I'm doing things like connecting and like the Synergy Live sessions with Nella Mahat, like they're super fun. They're a way of two people publicly talking about their experiences and just helping whoever's watching on their journeys. And I've also begun helping people set up their websites for their offerings to others, because not everyone has the skills or the time. And I feel like it's really important for me, just like others have helped me, to be able to set aside time for me to help. So I feel like the themes of today's podcast have definitely been around the expression and the receipt of love in this universe, and then also the exciting aspects of connecting with other souls, and just how to honor those connections, set the intentions for them, and listen to the lessons that you learn. There's always a reason why you've been connected, and so that's beautiful as well, to just understand why that is. So I think that's it today for today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and sending my love from Scotland. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to catching up in the next podcast. Thank you.